Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, December 19th. And some interesting things have happened over the weekend. Some coaches fired. Kind of saw it coming. Some coaches that may be fired, or coaches that may be fired. And we're going to talk about this Monday Night Football matchup with playoff implications. Again, you want to get at me? You can get at me on Twitter at NotBland21. You can get at me with our email address. It's at straightshootingst@gmail.com. That's straightshootingst@gmail.com. And let me tell you, this whole thing with Gus Bradley has been building up and building up and building up over the last few years. And I wrote an article in 2015 talking about this very thing. And that was before they had this incredible draft this past year, bringing in more talent as well on the defensive side of the ball. And Gus Bradley definitely needed to step up. Ownership was doing their part in bringing in the talent. Now, over the 4 seasons that Gus was the coach here, his total record 14-48, 14 wins, 48 losses. And that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Definitely needed to do more especially in 2015, with them going 5-11. And here we are, 2-12 this season. And granted, they did lose a close one. But it definitely needed to be done. That type of record again, Gus Bradley is an example of really what should have been done to Jeff Fisher a long time ago. And he had 4 years to get it done and just could not muster up the wins for whatever those reasons are. I know people are looking at Blake Bortles as a guy that, may be a problem and not be what the team needs at quarterback. But when you look at the roster, you have Marquise Lee, Allen Robinson. You traded for what then was the Broncos tight end. He comes in and really has not been a factor. Defensively, you look at that team and they have everything under the sun. With Ramsey coming in as a rookie, playing fairly well, mind you. And you look at the defensive talent on that side of the ball, and you're unable to do the things necessary to make stops, to be able to get wins and even be consistent. They're so up and down, and it definitely needed to be done. And there's been questions of who's going to come in as the head coach here, and the normal candidates are out there. Tom Coughlin has been a talk, and I think it would be a good fit. It's a question of whether he wants to go there or not, but I think he would be a good fit. There's the Kyle Shanahans that are available. The Harbaughs are going to be mentioned, and you're still going to hear about Nick Saban, being a coaching prospect. The normal names are going to come up, Mike Shanahan's. But I think they just need a coach that can come in and work with the talent. I think a guy like Mike Smith is a former Falcons coach. Is a guy who really can help this team. You saw what he did with Matt Ryan in the first year. I believe he drafted Matt Ryan. Blake Bortles is not a bad quarterback. He has regressed, but absolutely with training or with the proper work, he definitely can be a quarterback that can. You're not asking him to be elite. You just don't want him to be making the mistakes that he makes. and that's what it all boils down to, making too many mistakes, and the offense is just not very good, not very good. So we'll see what goes on with that. And Jacksonville has a great team, great talent pool over there. Again, a team like the Los Angeles Rams, that the cupboard is not empty. And I would say that the Jacksonville Jaguars have a much more full cupboard than the Los Angeles Rams do. Lots of young talent over there. Lots of young talent. Great, pretty good wide receiving core. A running back core that's very well. The defensive front is good along with the secondary. There's a lot to work with, and just needs a coach that can coach them up, and that the troops are going to rally behind, so to speak, and go out and win ball games. Now we'll take a look at this Monday Night Football matchup with playoff implications. The Washington Redskins 7-5-1, the Carolina Panthers 5-8, virtually eliminated. If they're virtually eliminated, but this is a big game. Everybody wants to talk about the return of Josh Norman being able to play against his former team at FedEx Field, and I think that's a moot point. I think that really doesn't matter when it's all said and done, and it's going to be about what this defense can do, as far as containing Cam and not allowing Greg Olsen to slice and dice up their offense. Offensively, we know what the Carolina Panthers like to do, and they like to run the football, but they also like to incorporate a little bit of run from the quarterback position. And Greg Olsen is their main target. If you look at this team, and what they like to do, Olsen has 65 receptions, 907, 3 touchdowns. And Stewart, 162 rushes for 577, 8 touchdowns. And Cam's part of that rushing as well. Now the Redskins come in here with the second-ranked passing offense and the 12th-ranked rushing offense. But the problem for the Washington Redskins is not their offense. We know how prolific their offense is with Robert, a.k.a. Fat Rob, running the football now. Kirk Cousins has thrown for over 4,000 yards, 23 touchdowns, top quarterback in the league right now percentage-wise. But their defense has been the Achilles heel over the last couple of weeks, especially in those Dallas games and that Dallas game late in the season here. They're 24th ranked in passing, 22nd in rushing. Really, they just have to play a bend but don't break kind of a style here. Have to get a little pressure on Cam Newton. That's always important, but it's mainly taken away and forcing them to go to Greg Olsen. With Josh Norman is going to bottle up Calvin Benjamin. And really, I tell you what my main concern is. My main concern is about Ted Ginn getting loose for big plays down the field. That dude streaks quickly. They can get loose in the secondary, and we know that Breeland has had his struggles, and the safety play has been halfway decent for the Washington Redskins, but they struggle. They struggle a bit in the passing game, and the big plays is what can be the difference in the ball game for the Washington Redskins defense. Now, when we look at the offense, offensive side of the ball versus for the Washington Redskins versus the Carolina Panthers defense, everybody talks about Josh Norman leaving this defense and how much that has changed. But I tell you what, they're still top-ranked defense in stopping the run, allowing 90 yards per game. They're 5th in that. They are 30th, though, in the pass. And guess where the Washington Redskins are exceptional at? You guessed it, in the passing game. They have lit teams up, and I mean lit them up on various occasions. Now, what the Washington Redskins need to remember is that although they do not have Josh Norman, that front seven gets it done in stopping the run. They do bring pressure a lot of times, and they are really good at picking up on keys. And that's something that this Washington Redskins offense has been a little bit known for, is being at times predictable, especially in the red zone. And this is where offensive coordinator Sean McVay needs to become very creative, need to keep that defensive front off balance by switching some things up, doing things a little bit differently. And what I'd like to see more out of this team is running the football or going with plays that are working and staying with them until the opposing defense stops them. If they get predictable in this game, it could be a long night for the Washington Redskins. It's going to be another one of those games where Redskins fans are on the borderline of going into cardiac arrest because the game is so close and it looks like they're going to give it away. Their secondary for this Carolina Panthers defense is weak, though. As we said, they're 30th in the pass. But that still doesn't give Jay, along with McVay, the license, I should say, to go willy-nilly and just start throwing it all over the yard. It's going to need to be a good balance, but they're going to need to keep this defense on their toes if they want to have success in moving the ball down the field. Now, I think what Carolina will do, they will definitely try to stop the run. They know that they can't stop everything, but they know they can't stop everything on the outside. Jamison Crowder, quick. Deshaun Jackson, quick. You have Vernon Davis and Jordan Reed to contend with as tight ends over the middle. There's something they're forced to be reckoned with. But what they can do to slow down that offense is get after it and get the quarterback to the ground. If they shut down the run and they know that all they have to do is focus on the pass, well, that could play right into their hands. So the Redskins have to be creative tonight and do things differently than what they have normally been doing during the season and not be as predictable as they have been. Because predictability, you could find yourself either playing from behind or losing a close game to a team that really, honestly, they should clearly beat. Now, who am I taking in this game? I know everybody's like, well, you're definitely taking Washington. Well, yes, I'm going to take Washington, but it's not just for the home field advantage. It does concern me that that Vegas has them basically is so confident that they're going to win tonight. But I tell you, this team understands what's on the line. They understand that the playoffs are looming, and they're going to come out and fight. But I am not picking the Washington Redskins. I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to tell you why. Washington hasn't consistently shown anyone that they can be trusted on primetime games. Now, they did play the Green Bay Packers quite well. Really handed them a tough loss, scoring 42 points in that game at home. But have you noticed one thing about this team that seems like when things are on the line and when they can control their own destiny, they don't seem to come out with the sense of urgency that most people would think that they would exuberate coming out on the field, understanding that they can just take care of business, don't need any help from anyone, and make the playoffs. And they haven't consistently shown me that they can do that. And I think it's going to be the Carolina Panthers in a small upset in a close game that's going to come down to the offense not being able to convert in the red zone at the proper time. Surprise, surprise. But that's something we've seen over the weeks. And I just don't see that changing in a game with a defense that can shut down this Washington Redskins run. Well, thank you so much. Sorry for the sound. I'm dealing with a cold right now, but we appreciate you listening to the show. And enjoy Monday Night Football. We'll get back to you. We'll talk a little bit about the playoffs and playoff implications and how this thing is starting to lay out. We're really going to start to see how things are going to pan out after tonight. And we'll talk a little bit about the benching of Brock Osweiler tomorrow. Yeah, $72 million man sitting on the bench. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Well, good night, guys, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, crab cake and football. Nice. That's what Maryland does.